For Leatherface. What was it like to follow such an iconic character? You know, being brutal slasher, obviously. What was it like taking over? And obviously, what's it like to take over? And then basically, did you do anything different from the original to that you changed or anything like that, or did you make anything your own?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. It was very, very cool. I mean, you know, to assume one of those iconic characters, you know, because I'm a horror fan since I was a little kid, so that's what I've always wanted to do. I didn't feel intimidated or anything. I believe that writers, you know, if it's not on the page, it's not on the stage. And the script was very well written by David J. Scow. So follow what's on the page. Bring your own thoughts to it. Every individual is different, so no one's going to be a carbon copy of the other. And so I don't want to say I blazed a trail on my own, but I filtered the character through me, and that's what appeared on screen. So, and you know, followed the script.
This question is for John Nicholas. Martin is such an amazing character because he's tangible. Even when he's exhibiting the most extreme behavior, we still feel as though we can relate to him. That's an incredible feat. So I'd like to know what Mr. Romero brought to the table pre-production and during production, what you brought to the table to help create this character. How do you fuse those creative elements to bring Martin to life?
Wow, that's a hard question to answer. For most actors, well, I should speak for myself. For this actor, you know, I really try to pay attention to what's on the page. And George wrote the script, and I think George does his best work when he does his own writing. He created this character, and he created everything about it. I think the thing that helped me while working on it is that I had an immediate kind of empathy with the character due to the fact that, you know, I wasn't raised by my own parents. I was shipped around a little bit. This kid was shipped around a little bit. He had some issues and probably some delusions that were brought on by his cultural background. And I tried to pay attention to as much of that as possible. And I think my input came from whatever intuition I may have had pertaining to what the requirements of this character needed. I was gratified to be able to, in one way, create a character that was empathetic, and yet at the same time, what he was doing was, well, I can't even say it. He was a serial killer. The whole issue about is he or isn't he a vampire, well, I think that's a wonderful ambiguity to have in a film, because I think it's up to you guys to figure that out. But George and I both talked as we were going. He really mentored me through the process because it was my first feature. And I think that probably answers it, I mean, as best as I can.
Did any of you ever get so into your character that you accidentally killed one of the actors and have to cover it up on set?
Yes.
Several times.
Yes. I've done that. I killed and had to bury Vivica Lindfors and Carrie Nye in Creep Show. Ed Harris's body parts are around the mansion. So.
I've died in the scene several times, but that's
That was just the performance, though.
that was inherent in the
Sometimes you have to
never go slow today. Second house
Officer Dover. My question is for Kane. Can we expect to see Hatchet 3, possibly Hatchet 4?
Yes, I think so. I mean, Adam has always had an idea from the beginning to do at least 3 Hatchet movies. I'm not sure how I'm coming back after the end of the last one, but you know, they're pretty creative with that kind of stuff. But I'm not done with the character as far as I'm concerned. I wasn't done with Jason either, but that was beyond my decision. But I think we have a really good idea for the 3rd movie. Believe it or not, Adam came up with something and I was like, wow, you know, that could really work. So I'm hoping we do it. He wants to do a couple other things first, you know, to just get out of that frame of mind, because it's pretty tough for him to, because he writes, directs, everything. So, but I think it'll be in the future. Hey.
Hey, I was wondering if there was ever a wrestling match at one of these conventions, who would you want to wrestle?
Wait, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. If there's ever a wrestling match at one of these conventions, who would you want to wrestle?
Wow, Danielle Harris. Make sure that goes on her Facebook, will you? If you remember at the end of Hatchet 2, she was straddling me while I was on the ground. Yeah, that's where I got the idea.
This question for the panel. I was talking to Kane yesterday, and you showed pictures of you hurting your arm with the big fight with R.A. Is that something that happens as far as, you know, how often does that happen? Does it ever happen to anybody else during in any of your movies?
He's talking about the injuries. I tore my bicep doing the fight scene with R.A. So I just talked about any other injuries you guys have been hurt or anything.
A bruised ego. No. Sorry to disappoint. No.
There were some respiratory issues with Day of the Dead because we were working in old mushroom mines in Pennsylvania, and so a lot of the cast had respiratory problems for a little while, but nothing dangerous or injurious to my body.
Nice frock, by the way.
Speaking of respiratory issues, I don't know if some of you guys realize that when I take a picture with fans, in fact, I'd like to do one thing. If you raise your hand and keep it up for a second, so my buddy Mike can take a picture if you don't mind. Raise your hand and be honest if I have ever choked the fuck out of you.